My name's Honorable Susan Waititu. I come from Juja. I'm a counseling psychologist and I have a counseling center in Juja. And today we are having this conference to see the ways of the counseling psychologists, how we can come about an intervention about the burnout that we usually get as the political leaders and aspirants also. During the campaign periods, I may say that there's a lot of anxiety pertaining to the transition that people look forward to, and also about the expectations that one has when they're on the race. One, they spend a lot. Number two, they tend to be pushed a lot out of their way, maybe by the expectations of the people on the ground, by the roles on the ground that they're expected to play, like they're invited for this meeting, they hop from one meeting to another, and then also about mediating with a lot of voters. So they end up having burnouts, and having those burnouts, they're not healthy at all for the aspirants. And in the end of the day, you'll find them, maybe somebody was not drinking, you'll find them taking alcohol excessively, you'll find some of them having projection, like they'll go to a meeting, and when they're told to say something, they'll just throw words anyhowly. And these are some of the mental health that are affecting our aspirants, and also the political leaders, and let's say in quotes, almost all the leaders per se. There is always that ripple effect. When an aspirant is not okay in mental health, it goes down to the family, it goes down to the voters, it goes down even to the church, to the community surrounding the aspirant. So I think it's very crucial for somebody who is vying to take care of themselves, have that self-compassion, have that time for yourself, and also try to make sure that you are well catered for mentally. And I would say that during my time, I managed to work with somebody who was a counseling psychologist, and she really helped me through the difficulties that I was going through. Having someone that I could talk to, someone who could not judge me, someone who could assist me genuinely, because those are some of our counseling ethics that I believed in her, and she really assisted me. And that is how I managed. Even after I didn't manage to go through the by-elections, I still had my stand. It never brought me down, because I was somehow mentally prepared. Either I go for a win, and if I go for a loss also, there's a way I was prepared, I would handle that. I was well cushioned for that. First, before you venture into politics, and not only in politics, in any other game, even if it's business, you have that mindset in you. It's a risk that you're taking, isn't it? You may go to a business, unawekelea 1,100, and then you find zimepotea. You see, you don't give up. Tomorrow you'll still recollect yourself and go for it again. The same thing I would tell the aspirants who didn't make it. And like in Juja, I had really tried to talk to some of them. I had really tried to tell them that this is a race. You may win or you may lose. And unfortunately enough, in politics, we only target number one. In the others, you'll find we have gold, silver medal, you are considered the three of you. But in this case, if you've lost, that's it. So I would try to tell them, look at the positive side of it. Have you learned something out of where you are now? Maybe you've learned from the mistakes that you did. Maybe you've learned for something that you could do better the next time when we decide to vie. And again, there's still a lot of slots. Like now, I didn't vie for myself this time, but I'm still working for the party. I'm still using what I have in me through the party. So there are a lot of other avenues that you can implement your leadership without feeling that loss that you got then in the by-elections, if you didn't make it, in the nominations rather. Okay, I wanted to mention something about our women in leadership, and I want to say that it's a high time women we finish that narrative that we are our own enemies. I believe we have our Deputy President Martha Karua, and I believe that for women, we are the ones who have the majority votes. And I'm pledging for your support. Let's support her. Let's find that that's a leverage that we've been given as women. She's a lady full of integrity, a lady who does not condone corruption. Yeah, exactly. And I believe that if we come together as women, we can have her as our Deputy President, and she'll be able to look into our issues. coming from a woman point of view. And again, let's also look into Azimio, Baba, that is where I am, and see that for the leadership that we'll be having for both of them, full of integrity, full of clean politics, politics without abuses, politics full of reasoning and all that. I believe that we are going to move to the next level and to move this country to the next level.
My name is Dr. Susan Gitau. I am a counseling psychologist, founder of Susan Gitau Counseling Foundation that caters for the vulnerable communities and individuals, especially the youth in the community, and currently we're in Thika in Murang'a County. I also run a college in Thika called Africana College of Professionals, whose main training course is counseling psychology and other vocational courses. A stressed person is likely to be an angry person. A stressed person is likely to be toxic. And in this country, if there are people we hail, if there are people we hold with the highest esteem, I want to tell you, our political leaders. Because why do we follow them in large numbers? So when one of them is severely psychologically distressed, all this number of followers, the mammoth like you see everywhere today, it means you give them the same. And so if I have an angry political leader who is speaking vile, who is toxic, the followers get the same. And these followers go to homes, go to communities. So at the end of the day, what you may find is a toxic nation. And we have seen that. Because any political leader who is mentally healthy and has general wellness will not, one, insult another person, will not speak violence, will not neglect their own health, will not neglect their own family, will not neglect their own significant others. But these are things we have seen. So nobody needs to even say it doesn't happen. If I am stressed because of the environment and how political affairs are run, it means in the inside of me as a political leader, I stop being real. I become fake. So everything I'll be doing it because this is the way it's done. So even when I will get that political position, I will continue with the toxicity because I was never helped when I was vying. I was never helped to stop and think about me and relax. If I lose, that is even the worst. Because in most cases, some, they go and take loans, big loans. They sell their assets, their properties. They can even get loans from their friends with promises that once I get in, I will refund that money. Or if I use my own money, once I get in, I'm going to refund, and then you lose. Political aspirants, all they are doing right now is picking phone calls. He's been called everywhere. He's been invited in every event, and you don't go empty-handed. And so you may find you are overwhelming your own system. And so the system one day is going to say enough is enough. So with burnout, it is nothing else but mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, moral exhaustion of a human being, because they have been doing a little bit too much that is beyond their coping mechanisms. And the worst is when it comes to their families. So when you see your dad who is vying for a political seat, or your mother, or your brother, or your sister, or your daughter, or your son, receiving all these insults, and they don't just direct them to that political aspirant, even to you as a family. By the time you convince people this is not the way it was, your character is damaged, your family is damaged, and in a very big way, your own soul and mind are damaged. So at the end of the day, we have seen people who have taken their own lives after losing in political arenas. We have seen people decline in their general health very fast after losing in politics. We have seen other people kill, murder, and we have seen other divorce, separate. So we have seen family breakdown. We have seen high-rise cases of sexual and gender-based violence. We want to say this must come to a stop. Why? Because if our political leaders are taken care of, and they also know how to do self-care, at the end of the day, that's what we want for our country, that is what we want for our Kiambu County. And that is why, as the Kenya Counseling Psychological Association chairperson, I said, and with our group of counselors and psychologists, we agreed, can we talk stress and burnout among political aspirant leaders? It's a high time you hired among your political secretariat, political advisors, assistants, a therapist, either a counselor or a psychologist, so that we do what we call psychological debriefing, or the cleansing of the mind, such that your people, even when the environment they are going to campaign for you is so bad, they can come back and share. And that is what always happens, especially in security forces, where they take psychological damage very seriously. And at the end of the day, you're going to be the mouthpiece of peace that we are looking for, because in this country we say no more hatred, no more ethnic biases, no more stigma and discrimination against any persons, so that we can have peaceful elections. So our agenda at the end of the day is to have peaceful elections in this country.